Hello. Sorry. Once again, it never fails. Once again, it never fails. It's always like, hey, I'm going to hit the go button, and then everybody wants to call me. This child needs this. This child needs that. This person's doing this. So, yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. So, we had the ADP non-farm employment change come in as a negative number. Was lower than expected, but there was an adjustment before. Now, this is one of those split scenarios that we see a lot of times that people get very confused about. Um, you know, they see the red, they're like, "Oh, look at that, we missed by a lot." But there was also an adjustment much, much higher, so the forecast actually should have been lower anyway. Probably not as deep, so it may have been just a little bit lower, but it's not as negative a number as what we've seen. Now, thus far, looking at everything, is the dollar moving in crazy amounts? No, and it shouldn't be, right? You're seeing dollar CAD up just a little bit, Aussie dollar down just a little bit. Dollar yen, down just a smidge. Euro dollar up just a little bit, and then mixed. So it's not really changing things too much right now. Now the yen is the big player out there, right? The yen right now is coming back with strength. It doesn't matter if it's versus the dollar or out there versus the pound. Um, as far as why that is, again, there could be a number of different reasons for it. Um, you know, right now, nothing too crazy. We can see last night. We knew that this was going to be a release last night. It was a surprise to the top side. Now, I think that this is very, 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 very interesting. Why? Because we saw Australia hold and pause at 3.7. The expectation was coming in at 5, and that should have been a weakness based call. But they came and did an entire point 0.5 raise right now. Nobody's doing a point 0.5 raise, bringing up to 5.25. Why that's interesting, and why I'm making such a big point of this one is, you guys remember back in the day, we talked about things like the carry trade, right? Um, the carry trade is big. It's basically the offset between two different currencies. Okay, with the carry trade basically boils back down to is, in currencies there's two currency pairs, right? The dollar and the pound, right? Or the dollar and the yen, the dollar and the Swiss. So what happens is you're basically borrowing one to purchase the other one, and what you're doing is you're taking advantage of the change in that rate between the two. Now, there is interest paid when you borrow something. You need to pay interest, right? When you have something, right? Think like, and again, this is not, you know, one day was a different thing, but think if you have a savings account, you have cash in there, you get paid an interest rate. So basically, what it is you get paid the difference. The carry trade is basically taking advantage of the difference between those two. The yen, as we know, is basically zero. It's like what, 0.1, I think, as far as the tax purposes go, or the interest payment, I guess, purchases go. And now, being at 5.25%, we know that the target for inflation is 2%, right? Now, by just holding this New Zealand currency right now, if you're borrowing at a rate of 0.1, but you're getting paid a 5.25, just by holding it, you're making 5.15% on your money just for holding it. Not even saying that it's going to go up or down, just by holding it, right? And that's what the carry trade is. So when you see things get like this far apart, and this is why it was a big deal, if you could do the carry trade with the dollar yen, that's an extremely stable currency. Typically in the past, it's been on the pound yen or even the Aussie yen is what we've seen it on, right? The New Zealand yen, not traded as much, but there'll be more money put towards that trade now. Why? Borrowing yen, owning the New Zealand dollar, you'll be able to make a 5% return on your money just by holding it. So that's kind of a big deal for that one. And again, I'm really surprised where we are right now in kind of the life cycle of this recovery that we are seeing a 0.5 raise there. So again, go New Zealand. All right, we're gonna get ISM in the next 20 minutes, so that's gonna be another big deal as well. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else besides that. The cash rate increase was the biggest one. Explaining the thing. Pay was up 6.9% over the year. That's fine. And this is the thing too. People look at this. The annual pay was up 6.9%, right? Well, what was the inflation over the last year? Right? That's the bigger question. Go look at that CPI year over year. Is it 6.9 yet? No. Meaning the price of goods and services are that much higher still, and the annual pay is not up. Okay. So again, not necessarily what we want to see. But yeah, that's what we got coming in the next 20 minutes. Now, we also, by the way, we have crude oil, right? We have crude oil today. Now, Crude oil expected to be a little bit of down draw. I did not pull it up. API oil inventory report. There we go. Let's put this one right here just so we stay consistent. All right. Let's bring this across. Let's bring this over here. All right. This is what we got going on right here. We got a forecast. They're saying it's higher than higher than what the forecast was, down -4. But it was supposed to be down -1.8. That is also the reading over here, 1.6. So rather close, right? Down draws. We actually don't want to see this be -4, right? Oil being higher this week, we don't want to see it go up that high, but we're going to get that data rather soon. All right. We'll get final services. It's not going to be a big deal. All right. So there's that. Into tomorrow, we got a lot of CAD data coming out. Now, I think this is I think that tomorrow is set to provide a kind of a reversal for what we've seen with the dollar CAD, right? We know that the trend has been dollar weakness. We know that there's been CAD strength coming out of the entire oil thing. We'll get it today. If we're down 4 million and the forecast was 1.6, oil should, on a fundamental basis, continue to rise a little bit. That's more strength. Going into tomorrow morning, we have the unemployment change. And again, not as much as it was last time. Could be negative because we've seen all the employment data be bad. Unemployment rate expected to go up. Could it go higher than that? Could. But again, sign of weakness. And then unemployment claims supposed to be at 200, not moving since last time. But we know unemployment, also jobs, not great. So we could see that also be a very negative point. All right. So yeah. So a lot in the next 24 hours. I don't want to say a lot. It's not numerous, but the actual releases are pretty decent. And like I said, right now, based off these 24-hour changes, really the yen is the only game in the house right now. So yeah. Let's go right across and let's start off with the VIX. Now the VIX took a little bit of a pop up here. We're back up at that 19 mark. Interesting. There's a woman on this morning talking about how, and again, as far as a commodity goes, yes, the VIX is, or not a commodity, as far as a tradable asset, right? VIX is absolutely something that you can, take advantage of and buy, right? But it is a fear index. And it was funny that they had a person on talking today about how, they had large areas of, basically talking about how 18 is an area of, where you see it being, underpriced and things like that. It's like, it's not a commodity. You can't eat VIX. VIX is like a fear gauge. In any given day, it can bounce higher and lower. And the way she talked about it, it was like a can of, it was like an orange or like an apple or something, right? Can of Coke, car, right? I was like, it's not really like that. I'm like, you're talking about like an indicator for a non-tangible item, and you're talking about how it's a great price, right? That's not how it works. So it was kind of funny that she was talking about that. I'm like, wow, you're on CNBC. Like, okay, sure. There's not a warehouse with VIX in it, right? You can't make a phone call and say, hey, I want to buy a lot of VIX, right? I want it in a couple different colors, size small. It's not, but she was talking about it like it was like, a sweater, like a tangible item. I was like, okay. Anyway, right now it is a little bit elevated, up 3.4%. Not really anything in the overnight. It's just the gap that we saw in that brief overnight, but it really hasn't moved much. And the indices are split. We got 3 in the red, 1 in the green, right? Russell's going to be the most sensitive right now, going deep in the red. Oil down a little bit, but the question is now, you look at this, you're like, oh, God, yes, we're getting relief. We're going back down to 80, but is it really that? Is that really the case? Or is it more the case of we're seeing the price drop now based off of API in preparation for this to be, remember, when you buy it, you want it on sale. Are they putting it on sale now for this to go higher today? Right? That's kind of the big question right now about oil. Natural gas is up a little bit. We're back up at 216. They're putting in a valiant fight there, right? Gold up 0.3, silver down 0.3, right? So again, they're kind of mixed there, and they're both trying to move a little bit. Start of the U.S. market, yeah, you tend to see that. And again, so far, people look at that red and say, hey, that's dollar weak, but it's not really, right? It's not. Looking at the dollar, is it really weak? Nah, because we closed here yesterday, and then we opened and we kind of rallied back up. And then at the U.S. market, again, when we got our data this morning, we punched down, but then immediately pulled back up again, and we're kind of floating in the same area. So has it really left, right? Has it triggered anything? No. Is it a low? No. Yeah, it got an initial kind of pop up, but we're still basically trending sideways. I wouldn't look at the dollar and be like, man, the dollar's getting smoked today. Not really what we're seeing. But yet, gold and silver, you can see gold is actually now it's only up 0.25 and silver is minus zero point 0.5. So yeah, it's already starting to react a little bit to people looking at that news the wrong way, right? Let's go over the Aussie dollar. All right, so Aussie dollar. Yesterday we were sitting right here, right? We had already been out of the trade. We'd already seen that go down to its full profit target. It came up and grabbed it again and pushed lower, and then rallied up and kind of pushed up and didn't make it all the way back up top again. We were saying, hey, listen, if we get one more 67.86, we could see shorting that one. It didn't. It went all the way down. It actually did go past the 78. Right now, again, this is kind of one of those 530 reversals, a straight push into it, and it actually went a little bit lower today. It did tag the 78, so we can pull it off and not use it. Where you draw fibs on this side is, again, this is one of those things that a lot of fib people have a hard time answering, and this is where it becomes kind of arbitrary where you put it. Some people will say, hey, listen, I'm going high to low, right? I'm going to put my fibs right there, right? Some people will say, oh, no, the trend had changed in here. You got to do it from the start of the trend. So some people will run it in there, right? And run it in this range from there to there, okay? So it is a very, very much different drawing. And again, here it's not too much different, but you can see the farther it goes up, a lot of these things start to change, okay? And then, you'll have some people, Jack loves this. He'll take here is the last one to here, right? Or to here, he'll do it this way, right? Some people will do it off the lows, right? Some people will do it in new high, continuous highs and keep running it up. So, fibs is one of those things. I can make any reason. I'll say, I'm going to do it from this one to this one and this one to this one and this one to this one and this one. Now here's the new low. Like fibs, you can sometimes artificially create things that aren't there, right? That's my warning with them. Again, I think they're great. I love them. They do make a lot of sense. Again, a lot of times it becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a lot of times. And I love them for confirmations, any more reason why somebody would buy it. I mean, it's the same. And I put it in the, just so you guys understand too, be clear about this. I put it in the same thing as like a moving average crossover, right? Is a moving average crossover a great strategy to trade? No, right? But if I had an area where I'm already looking at it saying, hey, listen, there's a lot of sellers right there, right? And then magically, I don't think I can freehand one of these. No. If I'm already looking for an area to sell there, but there also happens to be move average and crossover where there was more amateur traders that would get in on board with what we were already doing, looking for that to reverse, then yes, I put it in the same category as that, right? Now, again, moving average crossover is probably like the lowest ranked strategy ever, but I'm just giving you an example of how you use it as a good odds enhancer. The more things that tell you in that direction, same thing when you look at currencies. If every euro currency tells you it's about to flip, chances are it's probably about to flip, right? It's the same idea. But I do think, again, just so we're clear too, if you are using a standalone system, are there people that use fibs as a standalone system and are they profitable? Yes. Do I know anybody personally that can use a moving average crossover strategy and just a moving average strategy by itself completely and be successful? No. It's just one of those things. It's too scripted. So where we are right now, we saw this run up, right, in the overnight, and then the U.S. data is now out, and we're kind of struggling a little bit. There is a little bit of a zone in here. I'll remove these. These are the two trades from yesterday. There is a little bit of a zone. The 50 is sitting right there, so it is getting close proximity. Typically, when we see breaks like this, we are looking for reversals. Now, here's the reality. Is today's data, is this so horrible that the Fed's going to be like, hey, you know what? I know we said 0.25, but that employment change, it was 145. We missed the forecast for ADP. ADP is not even the big one, right? And the fact that this was off last time, that they had to add jobs, could that have affected the trajectory over here? Yes, it's a split number. So I don't think this does much. We'll see. Maybe if ISM services goes under 50, maybe that's, something that changes the trajectory today. But right now, we're not really seeing it. So I would say, the Fed is still going to be continuing to raise. I think people look at that. I think it's an easy trap. It is in a downtrend again. And again, Aussie, what does the Aussie have going for it? I mean, they paused. The U.S. is supposed to at least raise one more time before they start cutting, supposedly, allegedly. But then they remember, they told us not until the end of next year. So I actually don't think, my opinion on this is kind of the same thing. They're never going to raise it again. They're not going to raise it. They're not going to raise it. They're not going to raise it. Holy crap, they're raising it, right? Thus far, all the data, mean, the data is starting to come in line. Um, I think they raised one more time because they said they were going to, right? And everybody seems to be on board that the market, and again, the market kind of can stomach one more, right? Um, and then maybe we pause and they say it's going to take some time. And remember, they're going to take it into restrictive levels and then hold it there for quite some time to get things back down. I don't know. I mean, how many months is there left? Right? We got 4 months. We're going to raise it next time, and then it's going to be an entirely another month. And then we're going to hold it there for a couple months to see what it does. I mean, even the banks are like, hey, listen, stop. Whack a mole is not going to work. You cannot raise it, then lower it, then raise it, then lower it, then raise it, and lower it. You got to it's got to be slow and smooth, right? So even the banks are calling for that not to be the whack a mole scenario. So, but the market feels like that's what's going to happen. They're gonna cut it 75 basis points suddenly. Mm, yeah, I think there's a lot of risk to that. So I would see dollar strength rolling back in. I still think this needs to hit 66.60. This level down here, it's an old 78.6 level before we can do much with it. There obviously is a new base down here. Um, again, depending on how you drew it, it may have been an old 61. I think those are the two levels you watch out for. Excuse me. Target up here. All right. I think those are the two right now are the two levels we're looking for. If for some reason today we get some crazy horrible news that the Fed's like, you know what, I'm stopping, and it spikes up, I still like sells up here. This was a decent base top. And again, nice response, and then a front run off there. I still think that this is a viable area for sells. Now Aussie yen. Okay. So profit targets, they were both tagged yesterday, 11:30. We tagged that second profit target. So I'll pull these both off now. You can see the little hook up at the 50. So we'll pull this. We'll pull this. It did reverse where it should have. I mean, here's the bottom, right? Back down to the origin of the move, and we hit it and kind of bounced off of it. There's your confirmation entry high. Um, we can clear these now. This is past the 78. Let's run back down to here. Let's go high to low because that's what people are going to be looking at. And look at that. If this is a bottom right now, look at that. We do have an area where we had a nice strong push in, a little bit of a hiccup at 230 for the European Open, and then boom, a pop back down again. So I think this is a level we should watch out for. I think actually, if we can get back up there, this is not a horrible level for a 23.6 pullback. This target is actually officially hit. This is hit. This is hit. And again, you can see that that is what it based into. We'll pull that now because we don't need it. That's where we're hitting right now, isn't it? Yeah. Right here. Got about 50 pips to go. Yeah, we got some time on this one. Mm, 49. Not a horrible one. Hmm. So, reason I'm looking at this one. So, for Australia's a unique situation. Um, just like how Canada has the link with oil, right? Because they are an oil producer and they ship a ton of it to the United States. We refine it and ship it back to them for like 10 times the price. How the price of oil kind of stimulates or hurts their economy. Um, Aussie also kind of does the same thing trade wise with China. So Australia kind of rises and sets with China's productivity. Seeing their balance of trade is a way to kind of get a look in that from the Aussie side. So it's actually like in the US, balance of trade, not really a big deal. All right. Something like Australia, it is bigger. Um, hmm. I don't really like this for a Harry Potter. Again, there could be a bounce and a push down. So there is a small level there. I don't love it though. Um, I wish it was. If I wish this wasn't here. If this wasn't here, this little pullback right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. This that's enough room to run a Harry Potter trade out of, but not with that. I mean, that it could bounce off of that, but that's Being the old 61 and that basing there, it's like, ooh, you gotta look out for it. Kind of need this one to move. Kind of need this one to go higher. Um, so I think on an aggressive sense, 88.35 is your short. On a more conservative sense, 89.05. Right, 80 no at 89.05, it'll be between the 50 and 61. You'll have people jumping in there. I like how it pulled up. There's nothing there. It's fresh. It's a one candle base, and then that was the start of the trend. So I like all those other things about it. Euro dollar. All right, so euro dollar. There's the position yesterday. It was out right at 9 o'clock, so I'll remove it now just so we don't confuse people on it. We punched higher, right? So there is all those. We don't need that. I guess we could run that all the way up. We can run this all the way up now. Take that off. Take that off. Take that off. We'll pull that. 78 there. Um, that level's a bit big for me. 17. It looks bigger than it actually is. So we don't really have the base. Uh, it's a little tiny bit deep. A little tiny bit deep. So we're in the upper end of the curve. We're looking for shorts. Obviously, racetrack type scenario right here. 10:30 from yesterday just exploded up, and then again ran into seller. So you could be in a short position still right now, taking it off that top candle at 17. It's a little bit big. It has pushed back to the downside. I'd say that there is a little small Harry Potter trade in here, right there, right. And 1 to 3 is right. It's just a tad deep, just a tad deep. So I'm okay with that one. We need the confirmation that it's going to go lower, and all this would do is be again bringing in dollar strength back into the market. So yeah, I've explained why I'm okay with that. Euro pound. All right, so euro pound. We ended up tagging it. You're like, uh oh, and then we push back down. This basing right here obviously has become a big deal, right? It hit it again as a pushing down. So after you've had 2 hits of this one, again, you're locked in a profit. You're not holding this anymore, and it did pop above finally. Again, the 1, 2, the 3 actually it was on this red one it pulled down, and then that was hit number 4. So definitely an opportunity to get short from that level. But at this point, the way that this is based here, it did come down and grab those buyers here. So I am looking at this one and saying, hey, listen, right now there's a decent level there. Well, we're going to remove that little Harry Potter there. We're going to take this, bring this one short over here and say, okay, kind of the same thinking here, right? Your 1 to 3 is only right there. It's not even back to the move. Your profit target would need to be put in right there. Okay, let's copy. There you go, something along those lines. Just that. So yeah, so if you did get into it, you're up like 18. Remember, this was a really small one, but once you saw this base, you had to expect that it was going to turn on that level. So it's just what happens. As far as additional shorts, I mean, yeah, this poked up into here, but is there anything great in there? Not really. It's chopped back and forth. There's nothing clean in there, so I don't think we can. Um, they sent me something so I can move teams around, and they had like the divisions labeled like Monarch, Butterfly, Gator, something else. I'm like, I don't know what those means. Is that A division? Is that B division? Like, I know you do it so people can't tell if it's A and B. So they're like, oh, we're in the B division. I don't know what it is, but I kind of have to know if I'm moving teams up or down. Um, all right. Yeah. So I think this is the best opportunity on this one. Remember, this one is not necessarily big. We're only talking about 6 pips for 18 in the direction. If you want to take it for, um, if you want to take it for 20, just know that we do have buyers down at that level. So it's a rather small trade. Nothing on the top side. It just ground its way down. Again, it keeps poking higher. Not a lot in that one. Let's see what the U.S. figure was. So again, deeper in the red, and again, seeing the two red, people may start going more kind of dollar weakness today. But the reality is, does 51 tell us anything? No. Above 50 indicates expansion. Below is contraction. So 51, it's like pass or fail. Is it a pass or is it a fail? It's a pass, right? It is getting close. So I would say next time we are within range that we could potentially go below 50. And we assumed it was going to be lower. So that's kind of the assumption that we had, that it would be lower, right? Yeah, we had that assumption, but it's still technically above. So that should peter out. So yeah, we're looking for short here. All right, euro yen. All right, so euro yen yesterday looks like we tagged it. Finally, we tagged the profit late last night. We were looking for this 143 hit, and you can see it started basing in here again. Now, this is one that we did talk about. We said, hey, listen, it should come all the way down. I'll leave that there. We'll pull this one. Because of the two spikes here, we didn't have a whole lot of. I don't know what the word is for it. We weren't really looking for reversals anywhere in here. We knew that if we went below this level, we'd have something. You could have set up a bit of a Harry Potter over here. I mean, here's the level, not an entry. It came in. It didn't even slow is what the problem is. It has its 4 hits. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. We mentioned taking this one when it cycles through that you could potentially do that. It did. It's kind of, at this point, it's already moved 50-something pips past. There are slight buyers in here, but there's nothing below to backstop it. So right now, the euro yen, I think it's the same position that we were looking for before. Again, there's a little racetrack right here, so we do have a Harry Potter opportunity to take this lower, but it's a break of 142.55. It's got some room to run. It's got about 60 pips before we even get down there. We could hit it later on this afternoon, maybe tonight in the overnight is when this one kind of cycles in. Okay. Pound dollar. All right, so pound dollar. Got the alert there. Again, we've kind of punched through very briefly and then punched through again and came straight back up again. So it is not triggered. Now, the top side triggered at 3 o'clock this morning, right? We had talked about this level 1, again, 2, 3. Risky on number 3, but it did do it right at the open. Came up, grabbed those sellers, and then pushed back down. And now we're basically on the bottom side. So this is one from yesterday we talked about. And again, you look at this like, wait, you just talked about dollar weakness. Why the heck is it going down? Is it really weak? No, it's showing expansion still. The market's not contracting, right? So yeah. Right? So, it's close. All right. Yeah, it's the same as yesterday. Not much else I can say. Again, when the dollar rolls back in, we know the pound is in decent shape, but that's not a big push back down to 24.30. So it's a 50 pip mover, not a big one. There we go. All right, so we're looking for Harry Potter in this one, right? So looks like at 1 o'clock we got triggered. We came back in, and looks like at 5 o'clock you could have got into it, or you could have done it in the overnight, or you could have done it right here. It did tag it at the European Open, right? European Open was this green candle right there. Okay. Numerous opportunities to get in, right? We talked about it being a target. Once it based above, once you saw this, you're like, yep, it bounced off the target. Ooh, it's going short. And again, there's your, again, you could have taken it here, could have taken it there, or taken it over here, depending on which one you wanted to take. And now it's passed. Here is the next profit target, the 163.11. We just hit that 163.11. We have been here a few times already. So again, because we go lower, sure, we could. I think this one's probably going to start slowing though. European session was actually the spike. Let's see. Yeah, we're at 150 right now. It's got a 198 daily ATR. So we are probably trying to push it a little bit. We can get into this range, and then we're kind of its average move for a day. Is there anything out there right now? They're like, yeah, this is going to be a 400 pip day in the pound yen. Not really. Again, I agree. It's a deterioration type trade, but we don't really have another Harry Potter there. You can see down here, there is a level sitting here confirmed, and it's sitting on the 50. So it's one that you're going to have to watch out for. I think we've already hit both these profit targets, but I'm going to say the next profit target's down here at 162.42. Okay. So if you got in this one in the overnight, great Good job. It is back through. Okay. Let's see on the near term. Where is it? Not worried about it yet. Although I do like this little hiccup. I'm gonna call it a hiccup. If we can get that hiccup down to here, and look at that how that worked out. Isn't this great? Once I bring fibs, again, forecasting with fibs down to the next target level, that little hiccup just happened to pop around the 23, right? It's right at the 23. That's where I like kind of using this. Be like, oh, there's my level. It's not a 23.6 retracement yet, but if it hits here, then it did become one. And that's how, I'm using both those things. So that's not bad. That's okay. Dollar CAD. All right, dollar CAD. What do we got in here? Looks like dollar CAD. We talked about getting a little bit lower. It made an attempt at 10 yesterday. We didn't get all the way down, but if you're taking that's where your fib, we just kind of grabbed it this morning at 4:30, pushed down, and we're rallying back up. So have we really? What's this one? What's pip change in 24 hours? It says 36, but look at this dollar strength rolling in now. Yeah, it's 36 because here's a 1030 candle. Or the 1030 candle. The 11 candle's up here, so it's about to deteriorate very, very fast. If this doesn't move at all, this is the 11 o'clock candle. So in the next hour, if it doesn't move, we're gonna go down to zero on where it was in 24 hours. I don't know. It's all right. There's some selling here. That was kind of a confirmed level here, right? There's a level sitting right there with a confirmation touch right here. So could you be short? Sure. Sure. I think at this point, it did turn exactly where it should have. I don't even know if it had enough room. It's probably pretty close. 14. Unfortunately, it's like 1 to 3 is sitting right here. A little bit deep. A little bit deep. So yeah, I think this one. I think this is more sideways. I think this. It was 36. Now it's 33. I think this deteriorates very, very quickly. Okay. We're still holding it at 1.6. I was wondering if they're going to adjust that this morning. Let's see what we got in dollar Swiss. Anything? Nah. Target was hit. Yep, target was hit yesterday. We started basing right above it at 10:30. We talked about 90.70 being hit, and it hit, and it started the base. You're like, yep, going short. And again, this is I can try to make it better, but it's really like this. But if you did this, there's your continuation of the broken zone, the downside. And look at the spike. Straight down, straight back up, right? So they're not really sure what to do with it. So yeah. Overall, I think let's see. It's all right. It's an old violated zone with the again trend continuation. How far did it push? 49, 48. Daily ATR 82. So the one concern I have with this is this. Right. So it may hit this one more time. It's already been here a bunch. It didn't really explode off of it. But there is this zone right here. Huge push down, a hiccup, right? And then boom, it popped back down again. Could it could it hit this level right here? I'm starting to use things right now. Could it hit that level and go short? Absolutely. Absolutely. Legitimate level hasn't been tested yet. But I'm looking at this level right here as being the long. 8 for 25. And all this is doing is take advantage of the racetrack over here. So yeah. So if it does kind of rally up and bounce off of here, no problem. If it hits here, right, the 90.77, 72 and pulls back down again, not going to be surprised at all. I don't think it holds more than one if it does. But when it does go, you got a clear sailing up. And again, that'll be taking this retracement from the 23.6 up to the 50. Right? So that's a good one. Dollar yen. Look at the dollar yen popping back at 131. See 131's a big deal, right? Um, all right. So this one never pulled back. We talked about this one yesterday at 10 o'clock. With these pushes, it did. It sliced all the way through. So let's remove the alert. Mm, Came down. Look, you can see it. Here's where we talked about profit target. Look at all the profit target hitting. Ding, 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 ding. It's like running right along it. Let's pull that now. We'll leave that because we may need it later. We don't need this. But I'm going to mark this here to here. It's funny, the 68 didn't slow it down, but the 131, the 131 was all over it. HP. Like, why is it doing that? 23. Not bad. All right, let's go through. Let's look at crude. All right, still, we just continue this across. If you wanted to adjust it for the new top, we could. This hasn't really changed. Still looking at this. Right now, we are about 20 minutes early on news. Let's see on a 5 minute what we got. Right now, we haven't even started the slowdown yet. European Open. Funny. API is like, yup, there's a down draw of 4 million barrels. You only picked down draw of one, and yet the price is heading straight down. So, yeah. This 15-minute candle. Is it slowing yet? No. No. Definitely not slowing yet. So we'll skip that and we'll go to natural gas and come back to it in a couple minutes. Um, right. So natural gas. Natural gas in the overnight actually took a nice little run. Now, I did see something earlier. Let's see if I can find it. B may need to go higher. Sector. Spain strongest service sector activity. No, I don't see it. As far as natural gas goes, we're at the gap right now. There's the gap here. That's what we're running to. We're going to change trajectory here. Let's go. 3. Yeah. Even the news. Natural gas moves higher despite mild weather forecasts. I'm wondering if people are trying to get short, and that's why it's going up. This one's being a little manipulated. Yeah, I mean, it's a day early for this one to move a lot. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really love this one. I would say sell. My opinion would be that this is more of a bearish type look right now. Again, it's back where the curve was. The 23.6 is up there. People will be looking for that. Is it clean? Not really. I mean, there's you could use a candle there and say, hey, listen, it's tested. Is it the cleanup levels? Nah. But I mean, it's really been stuck in this range now since Friday, right? Down, up, down, middle, up. So, eh, so nothing, you know, nothing earth shattering there, right? So, yeah, gold, gold up, basically what the other one is down. So, had the initial pop up yesterday. We said, hey, we're looking for a decent top in here, right? Um, green over green, no. Higher, no, 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 no. Now we have the red. I'll just remember this. It's easy. We don't have the red, green, red yet. We're still looking for the confirmation. Now there was a red top. You could have said, hey, listen, there is a red top there, and it did push back down again, and then it did come up and grab it. I still think at this point you just mark this here and say, okay, what are we looking for? I don't know when it's going to break, but when it does, right, we can still take this back over at least the 2000 mark. But yeah, we said look for some type of confirmation, and nowhere in here did the red close below the green, right? Without the green coming above. This one, sure, closed it below, but this green went way above its prior red. And now you can see it's literally bouncing back and forth between those two. But I think if we get a break of 2014, you do this off of 75. It's fine, right? Again, look for a pushback down to the, $15 move down to the 2000 mark. I think it's pretty safe. Silver. It looks very similar, right? You're like, wait a second, how's this one up and how's this one down? It's just the fact that this kind of peaked and then was a little higher, where this one did give us the peak. Now, obviously, with all this wick and not a lot of body, a lot less volume. There is actually a confirmation here, right? There's a red, green, red confirmation actually there, right? You could have taken it there. Red, green, red close to below. But it is quite choppy. I would say probably more looking along those lines. But again, we were looking for the top. We could say that there is this trade, right? Still a racetrack. We've hit it. We've put a zone in the top. We've hit it again, confirmed it, went down, found those buyers at the very, very bottom, went up, and then we've pushed in again. So how much is left? Probably not much, right? Probably not much. 1 to 3 is that's 2.99. So I'm not gonna. There you go. All right. So nothing. Eh. Same setup for both. I can draw it on this one too if you want. Three is right there. Remember, I said it's a little tiny bit deep. It's peaking just over. Right, it's peaking just over. You can kind of see it over the line. All right. So same, say it. Same, but different. Same, but different. All right. Let's see what we got here. Tesla getting cranked down, but it's about to find buyers. Apple, kind of the same thing. Right. Buyers right there. Confirm level. Running into it. That's a question. Is that a fib? It is a fib too. There'll be some people looking to buy Apple. So, all right. Let's go down. Let's check our opening prints. Actually, let's go see oil first and see if oil has slowed. It's trying, it looks like. It's trying, although it hasn't paused yet. Not pausing yet. Again, with 9 minutes to go, I mean, I guess there's a little tiny pause right around 10:13, but it still kind of went down, pop, and then just it was a little bit more of a hiccup than anything else. I don't know yet on this one. Oils, it's not the ideal kind of. I mean, like when we want to pause, we want like this, right? Right. 4 or 5 minutes of like nothing. This is not quite nothing. I mean, the price didn't move, but it was kind of a whip back and forth. Versus, I'm not changing the aspect ratio here. Right. Look how thick that is. Versus like this. That's what we want as a pause. This. Look how much bigger this is. Versus that. See the difference? It's not quite a pause yet. And look, it's getting sliced right through. 8 minutes to go, and it's like, yep, it's fine, sellers. Look at that. Look at all the movement. This is one of those things like, wow, look at that. Did they release the news? Did they release the news early? No. So, all right, let's check these out. We'll come back. All right, we don't need the 1 minute. Go to 15. Zip in more news. No, just the service thing. All right. Yeah, lots of chop. 9:15. Yeah, look, all sideways movement. So yeah, so the only confirmed zone that we do have is kind of sitting right there, and unfortunately, 9:45 candle, you missed it. So yeah, it was close. It was close for sure. But right now, looking at the market since really yesterday at noon, is there a definable trend in here? Not really. We've kind of been just channeling sideways back and forth to here. Sure, yeah, there's a confirmed level over here. You could go down here. You could say that there's a confirmation, but you still didn't get in, right? And then bottom side, this one was good yesterday. By the way, we were in this one yesterday, right? Oh, it was Monday. No, that was out. Let's pull this now. And we're kind of it's funny. We're kind of in the same area. This is the level we're going off of, right? There's your confirmation. 2, 3, 4. We get a pullback here. There could be a short off this one. As far as opening print, though, not so much. Um, yeah. As far as opening print goes, you would have got no entry on there. Let's see if NQ was any better. Nah. 8:15 was the spike, and by 9:30 was over here. So yeah. So it looks like this is more news based, right? If you're looking for confirmed levels, there's your confirmed level. So could you have taken this one news wise? Sure. That trade was good. Let's pull that off. There's your confirm. I guess you could have run it off of that level. It doesn't really matter either way. They both hit. Take your pick. You want that one? You want the lower one? Doesn't matter. But there was your news trade. Spiked up right at news. 1 to 3 is right there. Right. It's whether there or you're running it down here. It doesn't either way. It doesn't matter. Both of them are good for news. So opening print is right here. It's already too late. There's nothing over there. The trade was over at that point. And again, that is the problem with an 8:15 release. Right. Let's see. Did YM give us anything today? No. Again, everything went with the early release. 9:30 was straight up, and there's nothing over there. So yeah, unfortunately, not really. 9:15. No. Nope. Let's see Russell. Russell had a pullback. There's no overnight confirmed level. 7:15, 8:30. Yeah, that's the only thing there was. That. And again, your news came in right here. So yeah, this is the problem with 8:15 releases. A lot of times it screws it up. Between being wedged in between 8:15 and a 10. Neither of them are great. What's the dollar doing now? Yeah, look. It's weak. No, just kidding. Straight back up again. It really hasn't changed momentum. If anything, it's climbing higher, right? Look, red, red. This one's still red, but we know the yen, right? Dollar Swiss, red here, but it's up 7% in the last 5. Red or green and red. So we are seeing dollar strength roll back in. Make sure it didn't come early. It shouldn't. Okay, let's go back to crude. Yeah, it's in a confirmed zone, but like, is this a great zone? Not really. I mean, I guess it's okay, right? But we're still not getting any type of hold. There's been no. I mean, we had 2 minutes where it whipped back and forth, but it was twice what a hold is. So there's still no hold. Um, yeah, I don't. You know, we're typically meeting. Looking for a specific set of guidelines, and we don't have those guidelines. Um, there's been no hold in price whatsoever for this one yet. It's 4-3. And I'm really curious. I'm like, man, what is it going to be? Can we get a minus 4-3? Right? Can we get a nice little pop out of this one? Close. All right, let's go ahead and do the giveaway. We're gonna check that one out. So looks like we got some tickets in there today. Oh, look at this. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We don't see you often on chart schools, but you're in today. Who are we missing? He's not all in. All in is 10, right? I think this is only number 2 for him, right? So it's not all in yet, according to the Neuro ebook on how to steal pip chips. He's not all in yet, right? Um, 2 is all. I know, I know. Will, you never go above 2, and if you do, right, even if it's your third victory, you'll go in with 5. I think you've lost every time you've gone in with 5 for like the third one, right? It's like an overabundance of caution for you, right? Will's in for Will's like, I'm going for number 3, 5 tickets, and then 5 minutes later he loses to a 1. Every time, Will stays with his 1s or 2s and he's good. All right, let's close it down. We'll close this one down. We'll see who the winner is, and then we have 1 minute before oil. I'm very curious to check out how that one turns out. I'll do it with you, and then I got to roll. Winner is Ernest, taking it with 5. And what was his percentage? He had a 41% chance. Let's be real. 41 is quite a high percentage. So Ernest gets his 100 for today. Leaderboard, he gets his 100. Bringing it back. There we go. All right, so tomorrow's a big day. Of course he did. Wow, he went in big. He went in big, I mean, remember the percentages were in his favor. He had a 41% chance of winning. The next closest person would have been like a 25. So, it's called playing the odds. It's how the casinos do it, right? They can always lose, but the longer you play, that's why the odds are in your favor. All right, let's see. What do we got? Come on, give it to us. What are we doing with oil real quick? Oh, look at that. It is kind of holding there. Oh, there we go. It's probably out. Yeah, it's out. Yeah, look at that. No hold. Is it going to turn and roll? Let's see. What do we got? Oh, come on. I already saw it move. I know you have the data. Oh, I hate when it does this. I know you have it already. We see it. We see it trying to pop. Honestly, the way it's going, it looks like people are trying to short it. Yeah. Minus 3.7 is not as big. It's still double. Still double, right? It's popping. It should run into some sellers up here. I think that was the expectation. But again, look at that. It came back on sale, right? Remember we mentioned that when we started? Is this red right now to get it on sale? And that's kind of thus far what it's been. But it's got a lot to go before it gets back up there in the 82 range. So we'll see. Could have been worse. All right, with that said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Again, tomorrow morning there is some decent news, right? That's today. That's tomorrow. CAD news followed by unemployment claims. I think people will really be looking at this unemployment claims, watching it like a hawk. We are going to see it for the unemployment rate for CAD as well as the employment change. I think this could be a day for reversal for the dollar CAD position. We've been talking about that all week, so watch out for that one. All right, thank you guys for joining me today, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm actually reffing 2 games today and a men's league, so I will either have no voice or not be able to walk tomorrow. So it'll be fun. I'll have to fill you guys in. All right. Thank you again. I'll catch you tomorrow. You guys have a good one. Take care.